Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy K Storm. We are actually starting reactions. This is going to be the Micah Parsons trade top 3 landing spots and what teams stand out to him. This video was uploaded by the Goat House, so go hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like his video. I appreciate him for putting this out there, and let's see what he thinks of where Micah Parsons is going to end up. For my opinion, obviously I want him on my Chargers. But I think this was used for leverage just to keep him there. So let's see. Let's jump into it.
Micah Parsons has officially requested a trade, and he means that here are the landing spots, and the top 3 teams on this list really separate themselves from the rest, in my opinion. A lot of teams will be interested in trading for Micah Parsons, but not every team could afford to trade.
Okay, so this is a very, very important part, everybody. He is going to cost a lot for teams to go out and get him, correct? Multiple first-round picks. Is he worth that? For my opinion, absolutely. 26 years old, top 3 in the league in his position. Maybe behind Watt and Garrett, but that's personal preference. In my opinion, he's number 1 because he's so young. But it's also, he's going to need to get paid. That's what all of this has stemmed from, is Parsons wants to get paid. And Dallas isn't actually letting his agent really talk to anybody, and he wants his agent involved. It doesn't seem like Parsons is that kind of guy that's like, I need $45 million or I'm not playing. I think he would work out a more team-friendly deal if the team would actually have the conversation. And Jerry Jones, doesn't really do that because it's Jerry Jones. So
Trade for him. They have to check these boxes. He's going to cost a lot. He's going to cost 2 first-round picks and more picks, maybe 3 first-round picks. So teams have to have the draft capital first. Not only that, they have to be able to afford to trade those picks away. I'm mainly looking at the teams that need a quarterback or the teams that are going to need a quarterback, may need a quarterback. You can't just trade for a star pass rusher and expect to get a quarterback. You're shit out of luck at that point if you trade a bunch of first-round picks in the future, especially with this very good quarterback draft class coming up. And you have to have the cap space right now and in the future. He's going to cost $24 million this year. And he wants a very, very pricey extension. He wants to be the highest paid defensive player in football, and he's going to be. He's going to be around that at least. So have to be able to afford him. So not everyone can make this deal, but a lot of teams will be interested. I have the landing spots separated into tiers. Let's start with the dark horse landing spots and make sure.
Okay, so the dark horses, in his opinion, are the Bengals, the Ravens, the Rams, and the Chicago Bears. Out of these 4, the Ravens is what scares me the most. I feel like this would be a Ravens-esque thing to do. If it is the Bengals, they're gonna have it would be Trey Hendrickson for Micah Parsons. It would, in hindsight, be a swap. Both of them guys are having contract problems. Him in Los Angeles on the Rams would be great. It's just the money issues and them trading a lot of stuff for him. Like they're one of those teams that are like young right now. They have Jared Verse, so pairing him alongside Jared Verse, or you might have to include a guy like Jared Verse. Chicago, I don't see him going to the Bears. I don't know. I feel like the Bears would be really stupid to do this. I feel like the Bears need more than just a Micah Parsons kind of guy, rather than these other 3 teams. Cincinnati gets Parsons, that's huge for their defense. The Ravens get him. They're already one of the best teams in the AFC. And the Rams are super young. They're more than likely going to be winning that division this year. So those 3 teams would capitalize big time. I think it would push them to division winnings or even Super Bowl pushes. The Bears, I'm not quite sure they win that division with Detroit and also Green Bay. So that's my opinion on these teams. Let's hear him out for a little bit. We're not gonna watch all of his info on the dark horses, and then we'll jump to the other parts of the video. Let's get back into it.
Of teams that a lot of people are mentioning when it comes to Micah Parsons, and I want to talk about them, and teams that make sense, a lot of sense at first glance, but once you dig a little deeper, there's some obstacles there. The Bengals make sense in theory because they have the money to pay Trey Hendrickson. They're just worried about paying him a lot because he's 30 years old. So they can afford Micah Parsons. That kind of solves that issue, and the Cowboys maybe don't want to spend an absurd amount of money, highest paid defensive player on Micah Parsons. Hendrickson would help them and wouldn't cost that much. So in theory, it kind of makes sense, but a lot has to happen here. The Bengals have to want to pay Parsons a shit ton of money, and they have to have.
Hey kids, see you soon.
Sorry,
this
guys.
This is what the family calls
my apologies.
Eclipse.
Have to want him over Trey Hendrickson, and the Cowboys have to be good with having Trey Hendrickson and paying him. So if they agree that they like those players and they'll play those players, then it very well could happen. There's just some obstacles there. The Ravens, I mean, the roster is pretty complete. They have a little bit of spending money in the future. They're going to need to clear a little bit more. It's definitely doable. They already have Lamar under contract, but, man, they could be Micah Parsons away from just being that absolute juggernaut team. They're already kind of up there. It's just a little thin on cap space. They already have a ton spent. You know,
At the end of the day, when it comes to the Ravens, guys, if you really truly think about this, right? Yeah, it's going to cost a lot of money. But, dude, the Chiefs are $60 million in the hole. You got to spend money to win Super Bowls at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, simple as that. You got to spend money to win. And if you got to go in the hole for someone like that, you do it. You don't do it for some Trey Hendrickson, unfortunately. He's too old. But Micah Parsons, you go in the hole for it. You do it. You pay that luxury tax and you win Super Bowls. You have a superstar quarterback, superstar running back, great defense already. Why not? Go in the hole. You got to do what you got to do. The Chiefs are $60 million deep, guys. Minnesota's $40 million in. Think about that.
There's always ways to clear cap space. The Rams have a lot of future cap, and they have 2 first-round picks this upcoming year. I would say, Stafford's not going to be around forever, so they have to kind of keep those picks, and maybe this upcoming draft class look for that quarterback in the future. But again, they have 2 this upcoming year. Could they send one of those in future picks or both of those, and they still have another future pick? Again, a lot of cap space in the future. They have pretty good edge rushers, but Parsons and Verse would be an insane duo in bolster that defense. In the Chicago Bears being mentioned a ton, and you do want to talk about them because they're not afraid to make that splash trade. That's been proven, right? And on paper, based on what they did last year, and on paper right now, looking at their roster, their depth chart, they could definitely use an upgrade at the edge position. The issues are they're a little too low on cap space just for this year. He's going to cost $24 million. They're very thin on cap space next year because their spending spree this offseason. They have a little bit in the future after that. There's always ways around, clearing cap space so they can kind of make it happen. They also have a big contract to Montez Sweat, and they just signed Deo Adangbo to a, somewhat of a bigger contract, bigger than people expected, and they haven't even tried him yet off the edge. They just got him this offseason. So the Bears may feel like they're set right now, and they might be a little bit too thin on cap because of their spending spree this offseason.
Also, not just that, Go House. If you see this video, I appreciate you did this reactions. Video's great. The Bears need more. This to me feels like a team that wants to make a run. That's trying to get that from contender to Super Bowl. That jump. That's what they're trying to get to. Chicago still needs to get to the contender role. We don't know what they're going to look like yet. Did they spend a lot of money? Did they do a lot of moves in free agency? Absolutely. But you do not give up on this youngness, right? Caleb Williams, quite honestly, we don't know. Is Caleb Williams him? It's still a big question mark. So, for my opinion, I think we're good about hearing more about the Bears. But, yeah, I don't think that happens.
Of sense for Micah Parsons if they were not division rivals. It makes them a little...
I'm going to skip through this part because this isn't going to happen. They're not going to trade within the division. But imagine him in Philly. Oh, my God. I would cry. That's just ridiculous. Ain't going to happen, though. Washington as well. Insane.
Thing to think about. I put these teams in the maybe category. Like, it's possible these teams...
So our maybe category here. New England makes a lot of sense. Makes sense. Green Bay, that would be nuts. Vegas next to Max Crosby, holy crap. Seattle, it's a very good possibility. And Carolina. If I'm the Panthers, I'm not trading for them. Let's keep going through the draft and building. Same thing with the Pats. So it's more so the Vegas, Seattle, and Green Bay. Green Bay makes a lot of sense. They're trying to catch the Lions. They're trying to make that next jump of being a Super Bowl contender. I think Jordan Love's great. Vegas, I don't know. They got a lot to work out over there, man. In my opinion, their secondary is not too hot. Um, if I'm them, I'm trying to get a DB. I'm trying to go secondary. They made moves this off season. They have their offense has gotten better. Getting Genti, getting Gino, that's great. But at the end of the day, man, is Geno Smith a guy that's going to get you there? No. So in my opinion, I don't think I would do it if I'm the Raiders. I know Micah Parsons is great, but you guys got to think about what these teams have to give up for him. It's a big deal. Draft picks are huge, huge. I mean, the Raiders miss on all of them besides this year. That's shots. I'm a Charger fan. Shots on you, Raider fans. They miss a lot of draft picks, but you guys are what? Let's say maybe this season. Let's go from 11 to 18, give or take. You're giving up that kind of draft pick for Micah, right? But you're going to have to give up another pick. Let's say next season you go in, Geno goes down, you guys lose a lot of games, you're in the top 10 picks, that sucks. And Micah and Crosby really don't. Do they win you football games? Yeah, but do they win you playoff games or win you a Super Bowl? No.
Could be interested. The Patriots have a lot of cap space for this year, and a lot of that could roll over to help them next year because of their spending spree. They're a little thin next year, but opening up in the future after that, they have space. It's not a shit ton like they had going into this year, obviously, but they can make it work. Vrabel's always going to look to make the defense better, always going to look to find star players like this. You could argue maybe they're fine because they already paid Harold Landry. They got him, and Keon White has a lot of potential, a big future. Hearing good things about him in training camp. So if you put it that way, it's like maybe not for the Patriots. The Packers have a lot of space this year. They can use that to pay Parsons now. They can have some roll over where they're somewhat thin next year. If you look deep into the future, the Packers are very, very thin, but it's the way they structure contracts. Once you get down the road in those contracts, they either move on or redo the contracts, clearing the space. So not really worried about that. If the Packers get a proven guy like this, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for more of a consistent sack artist here, what they kind of been missing. If they get Micah Parsons, I'll pick the Packers to win the Super Bowl if they get Micah Parsons. So
thank you.
That's
what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Work needs to be done. The Packers can be a little stubborn, and they do have decent pass rushers at the same time. We'll see. The Raiders have plenty of money to spend. They could afford Parsons. And if you look at it that way, along with they have the quarterback, they have the running game, they're supposed to with Genti, they have a decent offensive line, they have a star in Brock Bowers, they have a star in Max Crosby.
Him next to Max Crosby would be insane.
If you look at it that way, they could afford to make this move, put him next to Max, or opposite of Max Crosby, I should say, and who gives a shit who's on the rest of that defense? Basically, that's going to be it's going to be insane. Like, you don't have to spend anywhere else. That defense is going to be absurd, and they're going to win football games because of that pass rush, because of the run game with Genti, because of Geno and Brock Bowers. So if you put it that way, it looks, it makes a lot of sense. They do have some other roster building to do. Maybe they're worried about that. Maybe, they only want to spend X amount of dollars at that position because Crosby gets paid a ton, and, Parsons is going to need a lot more money. He's going to be the highest paid defensive player when it's all said and done. So maybe if they look at it that way, then the Raiders are going to say pass. Panthers definitely could use an upgrade at the position, even though they drafted a couple guys and they've signed a couple young guys with upside over the last couple years. So maybe they stay put. They may need to free a little bit of space this year. It's definitely doable. They're not super thin. Will they? It's going to come down to Bryce Young. Obviously he's the guy. Looked promising at the end of last year, but if they say like he's for sure, I know he's for sure their guy this year, and the staff thinks that as well. But if the staff is going, yeah, there's no question, like we're not going to need a new quarterback ever because Bryce Young is the guy next year or the year after that. If they're saying that, then boom, they can definitely make a run. They can afford to make this. But if in the back of their minds, obviously they believe in Bryce Young, but if they go, there's a shot, there's a chance we might need a quarterback, maybe there's a better guy, I'm not counting on that. But if they think that, then they better not, trade a bunch of first-round picks. So, but a team that definitely could use an edge rusher, and they'll have to free a little bit of space. And the Seahawks got a ton of space now and in the future. They could get better off the edge. They added his teammate DeMarcus Lawrence already. They do have a number of pass rushers. They may have a question at quarterback, depending on how Sam Darnold plays. It's not like a locked-in contract long-term. I know they have Milroe, but there's nothing set there. They may need a quarterback in the near future. So do you trade? It's a question. Do you trade first-round picks because you might need a quarterback? They also have to pay attention to the offensive line. Do they have enough edge rushers, like I said? So the more and more I talked, I'd say the most likely teams on this list, on the maybe list, are probably the Packers and the Raiders, and it's just a step under Panthers, and then Seahawks and Patriots right there. But those are the maybe teams to me. The more I talk about the Packers and the Raiders, hey, possible. The most likely landing spots for Micah Parsons if he is traded, and we will talk about the Cowboys as well. But
okay. So, in his opinion, and a lot of opinions, the most likely landing spots for Micah Parsons is the Tennessee Titans, okay, rookie quarterback Cam Ward, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Los Angeles Chargers. So, I'm going to touch on all of them. I know I'm a Charger fan, so this is just like, oh my God, if we get Micah, and also Dallas, obviously. Tennessee, great fit. Fantastic fit. He would be great in Tennessee. He could get paid. Will he win? We don't know how Cam Ward's going to be in the league. Tampa, great fit, amazing fit. He would do fantastic. Imagine him on that D-line. Oh, my Lord. Oh, out in Tampa, humid, at Tampa, with the boat, with Evans and Baker on the offense. Nasty. He would look clean, too, in one of their jerseys. But there's one team that I would be ecstatic for him to go to. And that's for him to come to Los Angeles, guys. Okay. What would the Chargers have to give up? Picks? Gone. I'm cool. Whatever. We're in a moment in our time right now. We gotta win. We have Herbert. We got Harbaugh. We've been drafted really well. I wouldn't be mad if we got to let go of 2 picks to go get this. You add Micah Parsons to the Los Angeles Chargers defense. We will win the division and be one of the best teams in the AFC. Mark my words from the jump. If we're healthy. You're adding Micah Parsons alongside Tuipulotu, Khalil Mack, and then you have a linebacker of Deion Henley, in my opinion, is going to be top 10 after this season. You have the best safety in the NFL in Derwin James. You have amazing young corners with Tarheeb Still, Cam Hart. And that's right there. That's insane. That defense is ridiculous. The Chargers defense last year was insane. And you have one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL. Micah Parsons would 17 sack season. Like that if he's healthy. Right? It just, that would be ridiculous. And we have the money to do it. Okay? This year, $24 million. We got about 21, so we'd be 3 under the cap this year. Next year, though, we're in $72 million in cap space next season. So, that'd be perfect. And then return to Dallas. Does make the most sense. He could be doing this. Just get leverage, get a contract done in Dallas.
Tennessee Titans, they check a lot of boxes. First, they have the funds, they have the space this year and in the future to pay Micah Parsons whatever he wants. Whatever he wants, they can do it. Take a look at their roster, take a look at their defense. They actually got some studs. They got a star player in Jeffrey Simmons. They got more studs than just that. But if you look at the edge position on their roster, it's weak. It's holding the rest of their defense back. But if they add a stud at that position, boom, that defense could be legit. Parsons could help them now and in the future. It'd be a huge, huge boost to that defense. And a lot of people might say, well, the Titans shouldn't do this because this is going to be an early first-round pick this upcoming year, and they have to give up more first-round picks on top of that. It's well worth it. Micah Parsons is worth the early first-round pick. I mean, he's young. He's already elite. He's still getting better. Remember, he played a different position in college. Well worth it. And the Titans don't have to worry about picking a quarterback. They just picked their quarterback, Cam Ward, first overall. To be determined if he's actually the franchise guy. But for right now, he is. Like, they're going to – Brian Callahan's second year, that's the guy he picked. They are going to run the – they're going to give Cam Ward a shot, until – every shot, every chance that they can give him. So he is the guy. They can afford to make a deal. They check a lot of boxes here to be able to make this deal. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, this is a really, really good roster. You know, they don't need a quarterback. They're locked in with Baker. They don't have a lot of needs. Last year, a big need was an edge rusher. They had to sign Reddick, but it's a one-year deal. Nothing locked in with him. No guarantee he's even going to be good. They have Yaya Diaby, but man, they're a Micah Parsons away from maybe being a serious Super Bowl contender, Super Bowl favorite maybe. And that's all they need. You know, Mike Evans going to be a free agent, but they just drafted a Mecca.
I wouldn't say Super Bowl favorite, but they would be really good. But I wouldn't say Super Bowl favorite. Philly's still in the NFC, bro. No, I know they got Philly's number, but nah.
Like Buka on top of.
I'm sorry. Tampa's playing in Philadelphia in January. That's all I'm going to say. Oh.
Having other good receivers. Again, Buka's on a rookie contract. They don't have a lot to worry about. The roster's so good around it. They are Micah Parsons away. They actually have space, too. They will have some spending money. In the future, they can make this happen and be a scary, scary team with Micah Parsons. Chargers kind of in the same boat. I mean, this would be that much more of a contender, maybe one of the Super Bowl favorites if they add Parsons. This team has a lot of spending money now and in the future. No problem affording him, giving him whatever he wants. No problem at all. Like Tennessee Titans, the Bucks could afford him too. They're just a little bit under those teams, but you know they could pretty much give him whatever he wants, and they would. But the Chargers, I mean, you could say they have Khalil Mack and Tui Pelotu. Khalil Mack's got 1 year left on his deal. He signed a 1 year. Could he be retiring after this year? Nothing locked in long term with him. And, you know, Tui Pelotu's a promising young player, but there's just nothing like set in stone, locked in. They get Parsons. They're legit now. They're legit in the future. They don't have to worry about missing Khalil Mack. You actually get better, you know, with Micah Parsons. He's currently a lot better than Khalil Mack, even though he's still balling out at his age. They have the quarterback under contract in Justin Herbert. They have a loaded roster. They have a ton of space. They check a ton of boxes. The only negative, I want to say the Chargers would be my number one, but there is one thing. It's a small thing. It's a question. No guarantee here. There's no guarantee answer that I'm making.
If you're a man who makes at least $150K a year and you feel self-conscious about your gut sticking out, I'll get you
that I'm giving. But this team loves the draft. They killed it in the draft last year. I feel like they killed it in the draft this year, but that's to be determined. So do they want to give up a bunch of draft picks and not be able to continue to kill it in the draft? That's the only thing. I mean, Harbaugh likes his young players that he spent time recruiting, whether he landed them or not at Michigan. He recruited them. So still a lot of those players out there, you know, in the near future draft. So, but you could trade a bunch of first-round picks, and then you still have, maybe they'd rather trade 3 first-round picks, and then you have 2nd through 7th round to still kill it in the draft. So you could argue that either way. And then he very well could be playing for the Cowboys this year or not traded at all. It's very rare, especially this time.
So that's going to wrap his video. I mean, it's just him more so talking about Dallas and reasons of being there. But yeah, there's a lot of key facts that go into this, guys. I would love to land him. I hope we do. We're just gonna have to wait and find out. It's just gonna take time. But Micah Parsons, Los Angeles, baby, and I'm not talking about the Rams. I'm talking about the Chargers. Come on, let's win some championships, my boy. Let's win. You have the talent. Let's do it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, I'm back officially. I'm going to be recording a lot more. You're about to start seeing everything. Follow my new Instagram. It's called StormCenter24. I'm going to be posting little short snippet videos after every week of the NFL season. I'm going to be doing weekly recaps, touching base on the season, doing reels or just a little TikTok, or even I'll have a whole video though for YouTube, obviously, and then snip that up and put that on my Instagram. So please go check that out. Please share with your friends and family. I am currently enrolled right now as a student at Full Sail University in the Dan Patrick School of Broadcasting. So I am trying to do that. That's been my goal right now. Hold on, there we go. So that's what I'm doing right now. I want to just keep practicing. So please let me know what I need to fix. Audio, anything, just let me know. Maybe. I know I did glance over a little too much this time, but that's just where my OBS stuff is at. So please let me know. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember, please like, subscribe, follow my new Instagram, and we will see you guys next time. Real soon, though. Appreciate it. Have a good day.